Amazonia, nation loyalty, presence of our Savior, who granted us the freedom, and led us to the heroes of Babylon we gather. Glory to your glory, we rise and never to fall. Carrying a nation, flowing with earth and harmony. Glory, glory, glory to the Father, for making you a nation and joy forevermore. Amazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty between our knees, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of His nation. Amazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty between our knees, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of His nation.
Cameroonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow Africans, friends and sympathizers of the English-speaking population of Cameroon, comrades in the struggle for the liberation of the Republic of Amazonia. I would like to personally thank you for being a faithful and a regular viewer of my YouTube videos. It is thanks to you and to the thousands of subscribers that watch me every day that I derive the inspiration and the energy that goes into making sure that you get nothing but the accurate and most up-to-date video reports. I am humbled by the regular feedback that I received from many of you, encouraging and advising me. Most of you like the neutral and unbiased presentation of the videos and want me to continue to present the struggle without blaming and claiming anyone's opinion as the best. As objective as I strive to be, there are times when I can unintentionally make comments that could be seen as off the mark by some viewers. Whenever that happens, I would like to humble myself and apologize. As a human being, and particularly as one with the struggle's best interest at heart, I am open to learn and grow so I can serve Amazonia better. Thank you for always reminding me to be positive and to focus on the struggle, not individuals. My job is to collect the stories, facts, pictures, and present to you to draw your own conclusions. The struggle for the liberation of Amazonia is a collective struggle. It is the struggle far beyond one individual and must not be about an individual but about our survival as a people. We know better not to play the enemy's game of years of divide and conquer. We are the proud people of Southern Cameroon, now to be, soon to be, the Republic of Amazonia. We are sisters and brothers in the struggle for the liberation of our motherland. Our guiding philosophy is that we must live free or to die. Today, thanks to the social media, the genocide that French Cameroon is carrying out against Amazonians is witnessed live around the world. You and I are among the witnesses. I will continue to do my best to serve you with dedication and accuracy. Keep watching. You are my inspiration. Please subscribe to my videos. I am through Njoh, your humble servant and reporter. Thank you. African Hour had the unique privilege today, October 1st, 2019, to talk to Pa Mola Njoh Litumbe in Douala, Cameroon, on the occasion of the 3rd anniversary of the restoration of the independence of Southern Cameroon, now Republic of Ambazonia. Pa Mola Njoh Litumbe is a living and breathing eyewitness of the painful history of Southern Cameroon. I ask Pa Mola Njoh Litumbe to tell us what October 1st means to him. Let us listen to Pa. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce Papa Mola Njoh Litumbe. Thank you very much.
I would say take courage that you are on the side of the rule of law. The whole world would be in chaos if it were not that there are principles of law governing the actions of these nations. And for the case under review of Southern Cameroon, it had a United Nations General Assembly resolution granting it independence as from 1st of October 1960. So what we have today is a contest between two nations accredited by the United Nations, which is the highest organ of society in this world, granting each of them independence on their own due date. In the case of Southern Cameroon, the date which was fixed by the UN General Assembly was 1st of October 1961. We can celebrate 1st of October because that was the date fixed by the General Assembly of the UN for the independence of Southern Cameroon. What subsequently transpired between that independent country with La République du Cameroon is a matter which causes me considerable anxiety, because the whole world must be governed by the rule of law. And when there is no rule of law, everything is chaotic. There will be no constitution governing a country if there is no rule of law. And in this particular case, the rule of law has been put aside by La République du Cameroon, instead of speaking to us as two nations of equal sovereignty wishing to unite in accordance with prescriptions provided by the United Nations itself. And the law and the prescriptions are the highest authority in the world. Therefore, if a nation like La République du Cameroon decides not to observe or to infringe the law, which is in Article 102 of the UN Charter, that if they are getting to be associated with another territory, they should put their intentions in writing, and both parties would sign the agreement and a copy filed at the UN Secretariat in New York. There is no such agreement between Southern Cameroon, which got its independence on 1st of October 1961. The people of Southern Cameroon were to be granted independence as from 1st of October 1961. But by that time, they had been forced to merge with the people of La République du Cameroon, who had a completely different culture. And that was the necessity of bringing to light that no, you cannot do that, because if you as a free country of La République, if you were going to join another territory, the Holy Bible of the world says that you have got to reduce into writing the different ways in which matters will be organized. And both of you sign them before you start living together. No such thing exists. France just moved in because they are more populous, about 80% of the people in Cameroon, and have been trying to force Southern Cameroonians to accept their own system of justice, law, education, foreign relations, and the way of life as if they were one country. Whereas the United Nations has laid down definite rules as to how this arrangement should be done. It is the friction caused by the non-observance of the prescriptions of joining by the United Nations which has caused the trouble in Cameroon today. And it is my hope that instead of French Cameroon, which gained its independence on 1st of January 1960, imposing its way of public administration, justice, and education on the people of Southern Cameroon, they could still live together by following the prescriptions of how that thing could be done amicably without any stresses. So until the regulations of the United Nations, which is the governing authority in the world, are also respected by La République du Cameroon, this trouble will see no end. And my appeal to the United Nations is that a lot of the foreign countries, over the period that there has been this friction, a lot of people have been killed. And it doesn't make sense at all that people who were to be led to independence on their own were being massacred like wild beasts in the forest. And so I would strongly urge that La République du Cameroon, if it wishes to join with Southern Cameroon, they should do so in accordance with the prescriptions laid down by the United Nations. Otherwise, they should go their separate ways. And that is my philosophy. So, although Cameroon has now said that it's going to hold a national conference, of this, that is only on paper, because really there is no union between French Cameroon and Southern Cameroon, as required by the governing laws of the world, which are the United Nations. If they did comply with the tenets of that law, we would have no problem today. But they are trying to impose their own system onto the people of Southern Cameroon. That is what is causing the trouble. So as 1st of October is coming, I must remind all Southern Cameroonians that your task of agitation to be allowed to live your lives in accordance with the prescriptions of the UN Charter, which is the overriding law of the world, are there. And it is my hope that in time, the rest of the world will agree with you that since you are entitled to independence in your own right and following your own laws, system of public administration, education, and the judiciary, if La République du Cameroon cannot accommodate you within the law prescribed by the United Nations, then it is the Republic of Cameroon which is not willing to merge with Southern Cameroon under law, because there is no system of law which permits the present arrangement. The message I wish to convey to them is simple and straightforward, that it is caused by the illegitimate way in which we were annexed by La République du Cameroon. Because when they had their independence on 1st of January 1960, we were not there. Southern Cameroon had its independence on 1st of October 1961. So we are dealing here with two corporate bodies, each having the provisions of what it has to do, firmly embedded in the United Nations Charter and provisions.
There is land of glory, we the Amazonians, nation loyalty, praise our Savior, who granted us the freedom, and led us to the heroes from Bamenda we gather. Glory to your glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation, for ignorant and hardy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation and joy forevermore. Amazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty in our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. You must, my God, be the watchman of this nation. Amazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty in our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. You must, my God, be the watchman of this nation.
Well, I've been away on safari to the United States of America. I returned not so long ago. I went there principally on the invitation of the Cameroonian diaspora.
All right. Okay. We are going to talk more about what you discussed there while in the United States of America.
Yes.
We'll talk about the presidential elections in the country and the visit of the head of state to the Northwest Regional Headquarters, Bamenda. That is in the second part
Yes.
of this program. And the major news briefs of the week. Back to my guest, Mola Njoh Litumbe. You spent more than a month in the United States of America. Why did you go there?
I went to the United States on the invitation of the diaspora there.
Like you said before?
Yes. They had listened to the first interview which Equinox granted me here, and they felt that if I was going to tell the story of Southern Cameroon, which involves some important key players like the United Nations, La République du Cameroun, Nigeria, that the matter is international and should not be limited to the confines of Cameroon alone. They therefore invited me to come and talk to the international community in the capital of the world as it is, so that the voice of this crying child of Southern Cameroon can be heard in the four corners of the world.
So you were invited by Cameroonians who live abroad?
Yes.
Not by the government of the United States
No,
of America?
No. It's Cameroonians who live abroad, having listened to the
yes,
interview.
like you mentioned before.
Yes.
Did you meet some American authorities?
Not officially. I left that to the people who had invited me. They were to invite the people who were to listen to me when I addressed them.
Was that the first time that you were invited
Yes.
overseas?
Yes.
Since you started this struggle?
Yes.
All right. What did you tell them?
Oh, I told them about the problems facing Southern Cameroon. I gave them the history of how two United Nations trust territories, East Cameroon, and which was French Cameroon, and British Cameroons, were established. They were parts of the German colony of Cameroon, because when Germany was defeated after the First World War, it renounced all its African territories at the Treaty of Versailles. And because France had overrun the greater part of German Cameroon, it was given that as a mandated territory of the League of Nations. And Britain, a smaller portion called British Cameroons, was also given to Great Britain under the League of Nations. On the formation of the United Nations in 1945 in San Francisco, these mandated territories were converted to trust territories, and agreements signed respectively with France over French Cameroon and with Britain over British Cameroons to prepare these separate territories ultimately to self-government or independence. Now, France granted independence to its own sector on 1st of January 1960. Southern or British Cameroons was still a trust territory. And on 14th of December 1960, the United Nations passed the landmark resolution 1514, saying that colonialism was evil and all colonized people should be granted unconditional independence, whether they were rich or poor, or whether they were educated or stark illiterates. They said that these people were there before the white man came, and they will find their way if they were left on their own. It was a country like Britain who grumbled and said that in some territories they have set up a police force, an army, and a public service, that if they granted independence as had been decided upon the previous on 14th of December, there will be chaos, because in some areas these people were not able to raise the necessary funds to run these public services. So the UN then said, well, look, the ultimate objective of any country is self-government or independence. But if a territory feels that it cannot carry all the burdens of independence, it could negotiate with an already sovereign country to correct the deficiencies that it has. For example, a country may be too small to cater for its own defense, or it may not have sufficient resources to establish embassies around the world. In that case, the UN said in those circumstances, it could opt to join a neighboring sovereign state, either by way of association or by integration. And the resolution 1541, passed the day after the Universal Declaration of Independence for all colonial territories, defined what is independence by association and what is independence by integration with a neighboring sovereign state. Now, the problem in southern Cameroon, which is the southern part of the former territory of British Cameroons, is that although the United Nations conducted a plebiscite on 11th and 12th of February 1961 throughout the national territory of British Cameroons, and the question asked was the same: would you like to have your independence by joining La République du Cameroon, or would you like to have your independence by joining the Federal Republic of Nigeria? The results of the plebiscite are recorded, and the majority...
Well, they voted to join La République.
Yes.
You've already made that
Yes.
abundantly clear.
Yes.
From this historical brief that you just gave us,
Yes.
you delivered this to them, the
Yes.
Cameroonians in the diaspora, those
Yes.
who invited you.
Yes.
What was their reaction after that?
Oh, they exclaimed and said that for the first time they are listening to the history of southern Cameroon from somebody who was not just told or educated in a classroom as to what transpired, somebody who was alive and well when these events were actually taking place. So I pointed out that we could not attain independence by association because the territory of southern Cameroon no longer exists. That the only alternative is for us to have independence by integration with La République du Cameroon. Now, the UN in resolution 1541...
Okay, by saying that, I get your point clearly.
Yes.
You, in that case, you are not talking about secession. You are talking about gaining independence
by integration.
in Cameroon.
Yes.
Why working with Cameroon?
Yes, if you would...
That is to say, when you say integration, what do you mean?
It was defined in resolution 1541, and it says that if the non-self-governing territory finds that it cannot carry the burdens of independence on its own, it cannot, for example, arrange its defense or have embassies around the world, it could integrate with an already sovereign state. But if it were to do that, they shared the three powers of government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary equally.
But Mola, that is already happening.
It hasn't.
The country called Southern Cameroon is already sharing legislative, the executive, and the judicial power with La République.
No, I think I
I
may come in and correct you there a little bit. The UN said that in sharing executive power equally, this means that if the country has only one president, that post alternates from one side to the other, because the idea was that even the small territory should taste the sweet honey of independence. Now, therefore, in order to be deemed to be independent, if there was only one president, that position alternated from one side to the other. In the case of legislative equality, if there are few people from the non-self-governing territory, Southern Cameroon, who joined the majority from La République du Cameroun in a federal legislature, the people in Southern Cameroon exercised a veto power on all legislation before it is passed. That gave them equal power in Parliament. For judicial equality, if both sides did not produce an equal number of magistrates throughout the national territory, and there is only one Chief Justice, that post of Chief Justice also alternates from one side to the other.
All right. Now, you've given us the way in for this interview.
Yes.
You have now made it clear that you are fighting for recognition in Cameroon. That is to say, as you have already mentioned, you want these powers, the legislative, the executive, the judiciary, to be shared equally.
That was the arrangement of the United Nations. Yes,
and
for close to 50 years. We haven't tasted any of these
possibility. Powers. Can it happen? When you look at Cameroon numerically,
yes,
the Southern Cameroons and La République,
yes,
is it possible that you can share power equally?
Well, it is a matter of agreement. If La République du Cameroun agreed that they wanted Southern Cameroons to join them in accordance with the provisions of the UN Charter, they didn't have much choice in the matter. It was by agreement. Then the UN says, if you are a member state of the United Nations and you are joining any territory, reduce the terms of joining in writing and file a copy at the Secretariat of the United Nations.
So, Mola, what you are saying now is that if we have 20 ministers in Cameroon, for example, 10 should go for La République and 10 for Southern Cameroons?
No, not necessarily. We're talking about the top post, the post of president. That is the post which exercises ultimate authority. That if in one term the president comes from La République du Cameroun, the next term around the president should come from Southern Cameroon.
All right, you want a Southern Cameroonian to be the president of this country?
Yes, well, this ought to have been arranged as far back as 49 years ago. Throughout the association so-called with La République du Cameroun, we have never tasted executive power.
And that is your struggle now?
Yes. That
you have changed your struggle.
Why?
Initially,
yes,
you were going for secession, independence of Southern Cameroons. Now you are looking for recognition.
No. My position has not changed one bit. Because having a grievance, you go to a tribunal to settle differences of opinion. So Southern Cameroonians went to the African Commission and said that our rights are being trampled upon by La République du Cameroun. That international tribunal has ruled that La République du Cameroun should enter into constructive dialogue with Southern Cameroonians, in particular SCNC and SAKO, in order to arrange to corrective action which is constitutional, any constitutional deficiencies. It is at that constructive dialogue that a lot of things will be said. And in that dialogue...
But it doesn't change the fact that you have transformed from independence to recognition in Cameroon.
No,
initially, except that you have been deceiving people. I mean, you of the Southern Cameroon, you've been fighting for independence all along.
Yes, because our rights as a people had never been respected. We came in to share power.
Are you saying, I want us to be clear with this.
Yes.
Are you saying that you changed your position after the ruling of the courts?
No. The ruling of the court says that, yes, we find that there is a flaw in the constitutional arrangement, and therefore the two parties should come together under the auspices of the African Commission in order to see whether they can settle their differences.
So, you are saying that those who are fighting for the independence of Southern Cameroon
Yes.
are on the wrong side of the struggle?
No, they are perfectly entitled to say so, because for 49 years, the terms of joining, as stipulated by the United Nations, have not been observed by La République du Cameroun. So the other party is saying, if you are not going to respect international law and order, then there is no reason for us to be with you.
Meanwhile, you are saying we want to be with you, but recognize us.
No. The people of Southern Cameroon, in the plebiscite of February 1961, voted overwhelmingly to join their brothers in La République du Cameroun. I have not shifted from that position. But the terms of joining were that they were to join in accordance with the provisions set out by the UN Charter. Now, that UN organization
Mola,
stipulates the methodology of joining.
which you've already mentioned,
Yes.
made it abundantly clear.
Yes.
I have talked to several people who
Yes.
are involved in this struggle.
Yes.
They believe that what we are fighting for is independence.
Yes.
Now, you are saying we want recognition in Cameroon, sharing of power.
Yes.
You said, that's
Yes.
what you said. That's
Yes.
it's clear.
Yes.
Is this not division?
No, it isn't. You see, if people get together, a husband, a man, and a woman, and they sign an agreement that this marriage between us is monogamous, and when the man is made a chief, he says a chief does not just marry one woman, he takes on other women. The wife whom he got in monogamous wedlock has a right to complain. She can go to court and say, my husband has broken the terms of the marriage. If he is prepared to behave the way that we came together originally, I will stay. Now, that is the position.
And that is your position.
That is
your position.
That is the position that if La République du Cameroun were to come tomorrow and say, we are very sorry, we made a mistake in this whole thing. We were to share power, that if the president comes from one side this time, next time he must come from the other side. We are very sorry. We'll say, all right, since you have already pocketed all the three powers over the last 49 years, are you now prepared that Southern Cameroon should exercise those powers for the ensuing 49 years? Because it was a balancing equation.
Okay, that's what you want to dialogue with the government.
Exactly. And if you have a dispute with someone, you don't fight over it. You go to a tribunal, somebody independent who would listen to both sides and then deliver a verdict.
I want to have this very clear. That is
Yes.
what you want to sit down with government face to face and talk?
Exactly, yes.
That we want to be with you. We want to be here.
Yes.
That you have to give us this.
You
We
have to agree to
we have
the
to shape our
you have to agree to the terms of coming together. If you don't agree to the terms of coming together, you are the one pushing us out. As I use the example of the man and his monogamously married
the
woman.
marriage example.
Yes, that if the husband acquires other wives and the wife complains, she doesn't take a dagger and kill the husband because that is her
What
husband.
do you say to those people who are contrary to you,
They're not-
fighting
No,
for independence?
no, they are not contrary to me. They say that this government of La République du Cameroun,
They are contrary to you because you are for the fact that we remain here, but they want to leave. So it's contradiction.
No, there is no contradiction whatsoever. It is in desperation. because this government is impervious to the rights of international treaties. They were jubilant when the International Court of Justice ruled that Bakassi belongs to Cameroon. At that point they hailed the International Court of Justice and said, yes, that is so. But the Banjul Commission is set up by a decentralized arm of the United Nations called the African Union. And they have listened to the petition of Southern Cameroonian, and I said, look, we don't want fight. Yes.
Is this struggle for independence, this has been happening for many years, the struggle for independence, your own struggle for recognition within the country, the Republic of Cameroon?
No. In actual fact, on a matter of correction, to tell you the bad faith of La République du Cameroon, they alleged that we joined them in a federation on 1st of October 1961. This is not true. Because when La République got independence on 1st of January 1960, they prepared a constitution which was approved by their assembly on, I think, 24th of February 1960. Now, what happened in this so-called federal constitution was that it is the constitution of La République du Cameroon as a sovereign state which was amended on 1st of September 1961. We were not there. We were still a trust territory. They amended the constitution which had been passed by their National Assembly on 21st of February 1960 and changed their name to La République Fédérale du Cameroun. Now, if you change your name from Harrison Tamfu to Johnson White, you are still the same person. So La République changed its name by passing this law number 2461, to show you that other laws have been passed since they got independence, and this was the 24th law changing their name, and said that effective 1st of October, they were going to swallow the territory of Southern Cameroon and incorporate it in their territory. This was the same La République du Cameroun which merely changed its name by passing a law in their parliament which only covered the citizens of La République du Cameroun as then constituted. If it was truly a federation, it would have meant two parties coming together and say, all right, this is the law which will govern the conduct of affairs between us. That is not the case. So what happened was that La République du Cameroun merely changed its name and took on Southern Cameroon as an appendage and colonized Southern Cameroon. That is the point I am making.
This struggle, like I was about to say, has been taking place for a very long time now.
Yes.
Is it attainable?
Of course it is attainable, because the world is governed by the rule of law. That's why we have the United Nations, which was specially created.
The laws have been passed and have not been respected.
Yes.
So,
yes,
rule of law now.
Yes, that is a delinquent state. And the mission I have is to show the world that here is a country, La République du Cameroun. They have failed to obey the prescriptions of the UN Charter, which says that if a member state of the UN is joining another territory, they must reduce the terms in writing and file a copy at the Secretariat of the UN. Otherwise, that arrangement is invalid. They sued, for example, Nigeria at the International Court of Justice, saying Nigeria was occupying part of their territory, when they know for certain that there is no treaty of union between Southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroon to have entitled them to do so. So in the process, they misled the International Court of Justice, which believed that by saying they are Cameroon and Bakassi is located in Cameroon, therefore La République had title over Bakassi. That was a fraudulent act.
So you are saying that the rights of Southern Cameroonians will be determined and well felt and, of course, propagated and enjoyed in a federation?
No. There is no federation. There never has been.
That is what I'm saying, that if there is a federation, this is where you will be recognized.
If there was a proper federation of two states, because that law 2461 passed by the Parliament of La République du Cameroon merely changed its name. It was not a federation at all. But the law recognized the state of Southern Cameroon and described it in that law as a state of West Cameroon.
Now that you mentioned elections, as you know very well, 2011 presidential elections, just around the corner, just next year.
Well, as I say, there are two different entities, Southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroon. They never joined, so that they are still apart. If La République du Cameroon wishes to go on to elections, I can only wish them good luck. But if they want to participate, including the territory of Southern Cameroon, they first must obey the international decision of the African Union, saying go into constructive dialogue, resolve the constitutional problem with Southern Cameroon first.
I asked you that question because you mentioned in the course of this interview that you wanted the president to come from two sides of the country. That is to say, this year,
yes,
the president from here, the other year.
It's not me saying, it is stipulated in UN Resolution 1541, passed on 15th of December 1960, with La République sitting there and Nigeria as members of the United Nations. They passed that resolution. So we were not there.
So the elections mean nothing to you?
They don't mean very much. I would advise strongly that President Biya should first of all respect the decision of this international tribunal if he is going to be the leader of a country in good standing. Otherwise, he is not of good standing. He will be a buccaneer president if he accepts the decision of one international tribunal and disregards others. In taking the matter to the International Court of Justice was a fraudulent act, because there is no treaty of union between the area in which Bakassi is located and La République du Cameroon. La République du Cameroon traditionally did not have a boundary with Nigeria.
Are you saying that Southern Cameroonians, like you call them, the so-called Southern Cameroonians,
yes, they
should boycott the elections?
Because
the truth remains that they are here, they are part and parcel of this country, and this country has an impact on them.
No.
Very much.
No. They may be, because the country is under siege. The Southern Cameroon is under siege. And
that is to say?
That is to say, the army, the police, and the administrative authorities are an imposition on poor Southern Cameroonians. They don't even have a police force of their own, you know. And therefore that whoever is colonizing is just like the time when we were colonized by imperial powers. You were not free to do as you, because they will take policemen and gendarmes, people looking like you, to arrest you and beat you up, although they were black people like you. This is what is happening now. That La République du Cameroon is colonizing southern Cameroon. The sharing of power, which the UN stipulated to be the basis on which...
Let us come back to the elections.
Yes.
Should they go and vote, participate?
I don't see why they should trouble themselves in that. I will not do that, because although I am governed by La République du Cameroon because they are colonizing southern Cameroon, really I have no business there. What is the purpose of an election to elect another president when the issue is hot before an international tribunal, which have said, hey, gentlemen, you better settle the constitutional issue between yourselves? I would say that the priority should be for La République du Cameroon to resolve that constitutional matter with southern Cameroon, and then say that we now want to go for election.
Like you said, a southern Cameroonian president,
Yes.
That's what you were advocating
Yes.
before.
Yes.
How is that going to happen? How is that possible?
It would require drawing a proper federal constitution in which there will be input from both sides, not the so-called federal constitution of 1st of September 1961, which was merely La République du Cameroon changing its name. It was just pretext. You can change your name anytime. They changed it from La République du Cameroon to La République Fédérale du Cameroon, United Republic of Cameroon, and back again to La République du Cameroon. It is the same person. There has been no union between Southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroon as required under international law.
Come back to the issue of the presidency.
Yes.
What does it require? You mentioned about the two parties sitting together and then discussing. What again? What more?
No, then you will have to amend the constitution and provide for
the constitution of which country?
Of the created federal constitution.
The federal constitution?
Yes. It cannot be the constitution of one side alone, either Southern Cameroon. Southern Cameroon had a constitution. La République du Cameroon had its own constitution. So, if you are going to create a federation, it wouldn't be the amendment of either the West Cameroon constitution or the constitution of La République du Cameroon. I don't know whether I've made myself clear.
But
one party just used trickery, amended its own constitution, and dragged the other person in.
You've made yourself abundantly clear on that point.
Yes.
So you are saying that if they want to come together and then to interchange the presidency of the republic, it necessitates the
drawing
of a new constitution.
Yes,
entirely.
That is why they should go into this dialogue with representatives of Southern Cameroon, SAKO and SCNC, and let each party ventilate their constitutional grievances.
And then what do you think that the constitution will look like?
Oh, that will be for the two parties to agree on.
Well, because when you say that the president from here, this year, and the president from there, that year, who votes?
No, if the two parties, they are two separate entities, each of them entitled to independence in their own right. The fact that they are joining together does not extinguish their right to sovereign independence. No, it's like the Gambia and Senegal. At some point, as you would remember from your history, they were Senegambia. But having prepared a treaty of union, filed it at the UN, that provided the conditions whereby the marriage could be dissolved if the need arose. So at a point, after a number of years, they just decided that no, we've had enough of each other, and they went their separate ways. This is what I would like to see between Southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroon. First, there has got to be corrective action. One party has pocketed all the three powers of government over a period of 49 years. If it is prepared to allow the other party, since they were to share these posts equally, to exercise them for the next 49 years before the rotation begins, I am sure that Southern Cameroonians will be delighted to...
So in this system of government, this new system,
Yes.
everybody votes?
No.
I mean, the president?
No. If it says that the presidency will alternate from La République du Cameroon to Southern
For example,
Cameroon.
if
Yes.
it's the turn of Southern Cameroon.
Yes, the voting will be in Southern Cameroon.
Southern Cameroonians
And
vote.
whoever, if it is Harrison Tamfu who wins election there, goes to Unity
You
Palace.
go to govern people who did not vote you? Is that a possibility?
No, this is because you can install people in power through an electoral college. You don't have to have universal elections each time that a position got to be. It could be by groups of people, councils, and so on, voting a particular person. All that needs to do is that the people may perhaps vote for their councils, and the councils have the power to nominate somebody for various positions. This can be done. Even in the United States, the voting of the presidency is not by universal adult suffrage.
How soon do you wish this to happen?
As soon as convenient, but certainly before the next election. If La République du Cameroon refuses to acknowledge the fact that we were people who were not part of their territory when they got independence, and that if they really value our association as equal to themselves, they should be prepared to dialogue. We don't think...
That is before the elections.
Before the elections. It is 1 year now since the decision was passed by that tribunal. La République du Cameroon has given no indication as to whether it's prepared for the dialogue. In those circumstances...
So you might wish to see an Anglophone, or rather a Southern Cameroonian president.
Yes.
By next year during the
Yes,
elections.
yes. I would say that in the constructive dialogue, we will make it clear to them that for 49 years, we have been deprived of our rights, executive, legislature, and judiciary. And that since we were to share these things equally from the word go, are they now prepared that for the next 49 years at least, we should exercise these three powers of government? If they say, we are very sorry, we would like to atone for our sins, I can see no reason why, having voted overwhelmingly to join them, why there should be separation. But it depends on the attitude of La République. If they adopt the position that what we have done, you have to stay with us, then they are the ones precipitating the breakup.
It's not accepted.
Yes.
If the government, well, the so-called La République, if they don't want to dialogue with you, what next?
Ah, yes. The way forward is that for the first time in the history of this struggle, the matter of the complaints of Southern Cameroons have entered the United Nations Club. You know, the United Nations, headquartered in New York, has created regional unions. You have, for example, the European Union, which takes up issues concerning Europe. You have the African Union, which considers matters pertaining to Africa. And all sovereign states in Africa belong to the African Union. They even have a constitution. Article 4B of that constitution stipulates that because of the haphazard manner in which Africa was shared by imperial powers, each sovereign African state should respect the boundaries handed to it at independence. So, if La République is headstrong and refuses to dialogue, to the extent to which this recommendation of the African Commission has been endorsed by the summit of the heads of state and governments of the African Union, which is a decentralized arm of the United Nations, we will go to the African Union and say, look, we were never part of La République du Cameroon when they got their independence. The African Commission has recommended that we dialogue with them to address constitutional issues, one of which is our status in any sort of federation that they claim to have. They are not coming. To the extent to which we were entitled in our own right to sovereign independence, we want to exercise that right, and we request you as a decentralized arm of the United Nations to take our petition to the appropriate organ, perhaps the Security Council, and say that these people want their independence and we want it.
So that's your next plan of action?
Yes, that is it. So I don't
How much time are you giving La République? I mean, there should be a deadline. If they stay for long, you can stay for 50 years.
Yes.
You keep on waiting for 50 years?
No.
How much patience do you have?
No, actually, if the parties were to take my advice, I would say the time is now. This is the time after 1 year since the decision was passed by an international tribunal and La République has not reacted. I said this is the time to apply through the African Union to table our matter before the United Nations for the sovereign independence of Southern Cameroon.
All right, Mola and Njoh Litumbe, we are about to come to the end of the interview, but before we go, as you know very well, the head of state Paul is expected to visit the Northwest Regional Headquarters, Bamenda, anytime from now. The date is not yet official. Will you welcome him?
Well, if he is coming to announce or to make a confession of his sins of omission, I would welcome him. If it is merely to show that he has military might and can keep Southern Cameroon under subjugation for many years to come, he will not receive my approval. He will not be welcome.
Do you think that visit is going to have any impact?
It may not have any physical impact because in these matters, it will require international diplomacy. I think Southern Cameroons are on the right track now that their matter has entered the UN circle. And having entered the UN circle, there is no need for warfare. It's to pursue it logically. And I am confident in my own mind that the way things are going, Southern Cameroon will be free.
So it's meaningless for you, the visit?
Yes, I mean, I don't see what he's coming to do in Bamenda in the face of an international tribunal which have said dialogue with Southern Cameroonians, address constitutional issues under our auspices, address them. Then if he behaves then as a gentleman, because to err is human, he could say, I'm very sorry, I misunderstood this whole thing. Now I am ready to make amends. He will be very welcome in Bamenda. But if he is visiting Bamenda in order to show the strength of his military might.
I'm asking you this question because some of those who are involved in this struggle have made it clear in a communique that they don't want him to visit Bamenda.
Yes, but I will not say that outright. I will say that if he is coming to try and make amends for his manifold sins of omission, then he will be welcome in Bamenda, because to err is human, to forgive divine.
Mola Njoh Litumbe, I've spent a wonderful time talking with you. We've come to the end of the interview. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for asking me to come. Anytime you request that I should visit you to discuss these things openly, so that Cameroonians who were not even born in 1961 can know the truth of the matter. I am delighted that you asked me to come here today, in which I have made certain salient points that the so-called Federal Constitution of Cameroon, which was supposed to be the joining instrument of Southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroon, was a fake. It was merely La République du Cameroon which changed its name and dragged Southern Cameroon by the tail and have colonized us ever since.
Thank you once again, Mr. Litumbe.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ade, for watching Top Stories tonight. And please keep on writing to us at topstories42@yahoo.com. We'd like to hear from you as usual, and thank you so much. Many of you who have been writing to us out there, thank you for your recommendations and comments. I will be with you again next Sunday, same time on Equinox Television. Have a wonderful time watching our programs. Mola,
please open up. Open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Open up. Now move. Please now move. You move.
Good evening, fellow Ambazonians. It's a privilege to come to you today with an update, a breaking story, breaking development coming to you from ground zero. We got up this morning to learn about the passing the passing of one of the sage, a baobab in this struggle, in the person of Mola Njoh Litumbe. Mola Njoh Litumbe is somebody that all of us in this Ambazonian revolution are very, very familiar with. Again, we wake up today here in the U.S. and of course the rest of the diaspora world to learn of his passing. And we couldn't sit still but to come to you to break the news and to honor him for the statesman, the patriot that Mola Njoh Litumbe was to all of us. Mola Njoh Litumbe was one of the last sage, one of the last patriot, statesman living in this time of the revolution. Mola Njoh Litumbe lived his life fighting all along for the independence, for the freedom of the country that we now call today the Federal Republic of Amazonia. I am very, very certain that even though passing, moving on, when we are not yet in Boya, Mola Njoh Litumbe will say he did not miss it, because I am very, very sure he is entering the grave knowing that he fought a good fight, he did a good job, he trained up others, young men and women to whom he passed the torch for the fight, for the struggle, for the liberation, the complete independence for the southern Cameroons. We will miss Mola Njoh Litumbe. We will miss his wisdom. We will miss his knowledge. He was, as many people call it, a moving encyclopedia. We will miss him. We will miss his narratives and his narrations. We will miss his counsel as an elder statesman in this struggle for independence for the people of Amazonia. Mola Njoh Litumbe, in his days, did everything possible that could bring freedom to the people of Amazonia. He was a professional accountant, chartered accountant. Then, in the days of multipartyism in Cameroon, early 90s, Mola Njoh Litumbe created the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, to serve Amazonia. And then in 1993, ladies and gentlemen, 1993, Mola Njoh Litumbe was one of the conveners of the Boya AAC1. And then, of course, he was there in 1994 in Bamenda at the AAC2. And at every point in moment where this struggle picked up momentum, Mola Njoh Litumbe was the one called to narrate the past and bring it to the present. Today, we lost a great statesman, we lost a baobab, we lost a sage in the person of Mola Njoh Litumbe. In the coming days, ABC shall be coming to you with a very, very special tribute and presentation to in his memory, to remember him. And we hope that all of you will stay tuned to that broadcast honoring Mola Njoh Litumbe. In a few minutes to come, the President of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, Dr. Samuel Ekome SAKO, shall be addressing the nation in memory of Mola Njoh Litumbe. We think that it is the right thing to do when somebody, a statesman with all honor and reverence like Mola Njoh Litumbe passes. It is but the right thing for us to do and for the president to do, to comfort and speak to the nation and comfort the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know, we don't have to mourn Mola Njoh Litumbe. He is a celebration, or he is a celebration, and we are hoping that as we celebrate the lives and times and contributions of Mola Njoh Litumbe to this belated struggle of Ambazonia, freedom for Ambazonia, we will do so in celebration, knowing that he lived his life to a full measure. He did not only live long, almost to 100 years, but he left a mark upon this new generation that fights for the independence of the southern Cameroons. And so when we remember him, we should remember him in celebration, and not in any mourning or sympathies or empathies. No, we remember Mola, Njoh, Litumbe, with celebrations. I remember meeting him quite on a number of occasions. The last time I met with Mola was 2016. 2016 in his home in Boya. I was visiting Cameroon, when this crisis was just about beginning. And that was the last time I met him. We met a number of times here in the USA, in Washington, D.C., and I actually conducted some interviews with him. Unfortunately, I don't have any of them left. But Mola Njoh Litumbe was always, ladies and gentlemen, always very, very optimistic. Very, very optimistic that Ambazonia, the Republic of Ambazonia, was going to come through. And even in his old age, he spent lots of time traveling to the United Kingdom, traveling to the USA, to the United Nations, to the Commonwealth, and trying all that you could, using his own funds, ladies and gentlemen, using his own funds to fight for a free and independent Southern Cameroons. It is regrettable that we miss him today, but I would say he fought a good fight. He finished the race. He has passed over the torch. And what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with it? The generation of the Enderless is all gone. The only person I remember who is still left with us is the Honorable Ambassador Henry Fossum, who is left of that generation. Mola Njoh Litumbe is gone. They have passed the torch on to us. And the question we ask ourselves is, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep the light shining? Are we going to fight to the end? Are we going to fight with the zeal and the passion that these men had in them? They live in their day dreaming of a free and independent Southern Cameroons. They are gone without seeing it. But I am sure Mola Njoh Litumbe is going home with good news to Foncha, good news to Indele, good news to Imbile, good news to Mona, good news to Fanlon, good news to all the people of his time, good news to Albert Woma Mukong, that he left some strong men and women at the verge of taking back the Southern Cameroons. And those men will be doing spins in their graves right now as they receive the news, ladies and gentlemen, from Mola Njoh Litumbe. Again, we will leave to celebrate him. I am joined on the set right now, ladies and gentlemen. I am joined on the set by the one and only President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Unfortunately, we are not set up right now to bring you the national anthem, but we will do it the way we can. The President will speak to Ambazonia, and after the President speaks to Ambazonia, I will come up back to you with a few comments before we close these very special broadcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ekome SAKO. Welcome, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies there. The president said doesn't appear to be coming this way with audio. Mr. President, if you have some technicians around you, your audio, your microphone apparently is not turned on. Your microphone is not turned on. We can see you speaking, but we cannot hear you, and the problem is from your end. If you were using a phone, that may be the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you hanging for a moment, and let's see if we can bring the president back with audio in it. So please, I ask you to stay tuned. The president will be right back with that presentation.
You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move.
Glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our needs, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Hail this land of glory, we the Amazonians pledge our loyalty. Praise to our Savior who granted us the freedom, our legacy to the hero who brought the lonely diablo. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation, flowing with earth and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
Fellow countrymen, today is a very sad day in our revolution. A statesman, a patriot, an icon, an Iroko tree, an encyclopedia has just left us in the most crucial moment of our war of independence. The Right Honorable Mola Njoh Litumbe died on Tuesday, May 26, 2020, at the Muna Clinic of Natural Causes at the age of 94. We will miss Mola Njoh. We will miss you, a man of dignity, a man with a straight tongue. He cherished the success of our revolution beyond his personal conveniences. He was selfless, fearless, and uncompromising. I pray God gives us half the zeal, the audacity, and the consistency of this great man. He was with us from the Mongo Bridge to the streets of New York and London, in rallies, and in every event that the young torchbearers put up as part of the long fight to put an end to what he, Mola, called the Njoh with French Cameroon. Yes, we are not mourning, we are celebrating this icon. I seize this occasion to extend our condolences as a nation to the SAKO County and the bereaved family. I have directed the Department of Communication to observe a day of tribute for our departed icon. You will be getting details of the program in the days ahead. May his soul rest in greatness. Adieu, Mola. We love you and we will miss you. God bless Ambazonia.
Hail this land of glory, we the Ambazonians pledge our loyalty. Praise the soul of Savior who granted us the freedom. Allegiance to the hero who brought the lonely diablo. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation, flowing with earth and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
All right, fellow Ambazonians, that was the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Dr. Samuel Ekome SAKO, in a less than 5 minute address to the people of Ambazonia, acknowledging the greatness of our departed hero, statesman, describing Mola Njoh Litumbe as a great statesman whom we are going to miss as we fight for a free and independent Southern Cameroon. As you heard from the President, ABC is working right now on a very special presentation coming up, I guess, within the week, that we honor the life and times and sacrifices of Mola Njoh Litumbe. And we are urging all of you out there, send us messages. If you know of any special thing or a special tribute you would love us to read on screen on ABC, a tribute to Mola Njoh Litumbe, please forward it to ABC. You can actually send it to send it to info@abcambertv.org. Again, that email address is info@abcambertv.org. You have a tribute to put out there for Mola Njoh Litumbe, and you want it read over ABC, please send us an email at the address I have just given you, info@abcambertv.org. Make it short. If you want us to read it, make it short. Make it not more than 5 lines. Not more than 5 lines. And you can be sure we are going to read it. When we organize that event, we are going to bring some of our statesmen who are still living to tell us what Mola Njoh Litumbe meant in this revolution, in this struggle. And I think it is going to be a piece of education that all of us are going to get. So please stay tuned and look forward to that broadcast. It's going to be very, very exciting, and I look forward to coming back to you with that presentation. Until then, fellow Ambazonians, we thought to honor Njoh Litumbe briefly today with this official announcement. We look forward to seeing you, and good night.
Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move. Please open up. Okay, now open up. Now move. Please, now move. You move.
Tsunami yangu suma na wamo wewe Esinga miangu ye kumbo indima Bani temerembe wanyolo mundi na weye Esingi miangu ito isonba iwa
Bamenda is the capital of the northwest region of Cameroon. It falls within the volcanic plateaus and a great belt part of the country that runs from the west region right down to the northwest region. The northwest region of Cameroon as a whole is a landlocked location with no direct access to the sea. Not much of natural resources have been discovered around here yet, and so very few industries are located here. The main source of employment here is the state, and therefore many now depend on trade. Trade and craft are the main sources of livelihood of the people of Abakwa. The Bamenda Men Market on its Commercial Avenue location used to be the only main business site of this region. Apart from just trade, the majority of the unskilled labor of this area is being spread throughout in agriculture. With its very rich volcanic soil, many people around this area depend on the soil for their existence. More than 10 years ago, all the items marketable were sold at the Bamenda Men Market. Then came the idea of the Bamenda Urban Council to create space for a portion of land just to sell food from the farms around the Northwest region. Northwest region. Many people from around Cameroon and even from neighboring Nigeria began increasingly being interested in trading on food items from the Northwest region through the Bamenda food market. These meat stores were created more than a decade ago, and very little has been done to modernize their state. This market is a daily market, and its activities start as early as 4 a.m. when the transporters start dropping perishable food items from the local farms. Business here is in a long chain, and the items pass through many hands before it finally lands in the hands of the final consumer, who may not even be residing in the Cameroonian territory. This whole process of passing from person to person of this agricultural produces is locally called Bayam Salam, which simply means buy and make available to the next, who also sells to make a little bit of gain. The whole process of supplying food items to the Bamenda food market mostly starts from the countryside with the subsistent local farmers. They plant and take care of the crops until the crops are ready for the market. The farmers have a direct link to the first level buyers who help them with certain things to ease their cultivation, sustain them when the crop season is off, and stand by as ready marketers for the crops when it's finally ready.
We only support the farmers when they want to work the farm. Then when they don't have chemicals, they come to us and take money. They go and they come to us and take money. Then they go and work the tomatoes. Then they will sell for us.
Okay. The first level buyers are those who buy from the farms and they make the early morning supplies to the Bamenda food market. Due to the perishable nature of some of those food items, it has to be at the market before sunrise because of the lack of preservation facilities. These food items must pass through very tiny roads that lead to the farm settlements. As the food items and fruits arrive at the Bamenda food market, the second grade buyers are already there early enough to buy in their own quantities, so as to sell to the next grade of buyers. The second grade buyers are in two categories: those who buy in huge quantities to export to other markets in Cameroon and abroad, and those who buy to supply to the local demand. By 8 a.m. in the morning, the first grade sellers are almost through with their supplies, and the Bamenda food market now starts filling up with the third grade buyers, who are mostly local dwellers who may be direct consumers or come to buy in smaller bulks to sell in other smaller markets of the city and small stores and resident areas.